seats in the chair, all the way from San Fernando Valley, is bass legend, rock royalty, Mr. Garry Beers. Garry, how are you?
I'm good, mate. How are you going?
I'm great. I'm really great. I've been looking forward to this all day. Feeling like a kid in a sweet shop. It's just like, oh yeah, but and I think because I did security for you guys, and back in the day when it was a huge big thing, INXS, were a massive band with millions of followers, and hit singles like you couldn't believe. It was just incredible, and I really thank you for that, because it was a huge part of my life. But anyway, to move on, talking about Ashen Moon, what was the concept behind that?
It's just a bunch of mates that I've met at various parties here in Los Angeles over the years. I've been living here 15 years now, so and we just started a fun band doing some private parties, and usual. It's kind of like going back to being a garage band again, like it. So we're doing sort of some covers and having fun, and did a couple of corporate gigs, and thought we're all writers, let's give it a go. And so we started writing, and the first thing we wrote was a song called Without Faith, which was a pretty good start. So we decided to keep going and make a record. So we made a record, recorded in my home studio, which is a little shed at the side of the house. Did the drums at a friend's studio, and just let it build. Took our time. We weren't paying big studio dollars, so we took our time to learn how to write together. And if we didn't like a chorus, for example, we just go and rewrite the whole thing, and then through the connections we have here, we had it mixed by a world-class mixing engineer and mastered by Harry Weinberg, who I worked with before in New York, but he's now based here. And he mastered the album, and he did Jeff Buckley Grace and Nirvana Nevermind and all the Beastie Boys stuff. Like he's a legend. So we ended up with what I think is a great statement of the three of us plus our guest musicians on it, of what exactly what we want to put on records. So we're very happy with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first video when it was shot in downtown LA and lockdown, it's a statement in itself. That you're able to to produce a video in lockdown at the Staples Center, and kind of and do that and make a groove record like it is.
Well, exactly. It's obviously there's pluses and minuses with the whole pandemic, as far as obviously downside as far as all the mayhem and death it's caused, but just the fact that we couldn't go out and tour. We actually had a whole tour booked around America and all these dates, and we had to cancel obviously cancel everything. So we're back to square one with that. So, but the good side is we could go and do a video around downtown LA and Staples Center and down Melrose and not a soul in sight. A video that would have probably cost $10 million, and on a normal day here in Los Angeles, it cost us nothing. We did it ourselves. So there's obviously pluses and minuses, but we're pretty happy with how it's all going. I mean, it's opening up. I mean, ironically, the Staples Center is opening up tonight. The Lakers have their first crowd in a year, so that'll be pretty exciting. But also, just the fact that we can now, as of pretty much this week, they're opening up venues so we can get there and play. We played our first gig last Friday out in Corona, which is out in Whoop Whoop, at a 80s club, just to get out there and keep the cobwebs out. It was great. It was really good to get there and play.
Yeah, I think last week I was supposed to be interviewing you last week, and Judas said, "Can we make it next week? Gary's got a gig on Friday, and I think he's up against it." And I'm like, yeah, you don't just say, no, I want to do it now. It's Garry Beers, it's rock royalty. You're like, yeah, not a problem.
Well, that's the funny irony of it. Thank you for the rock royalty comment, but the interesting thing is that it's with Ashen Moon, we're starting from scratch and we're doing it ourselves. We're self-managed. as I said, we do our own videos. We recorded it and produced it ourselves and financed it ourselves. So we're actually rehearsing in my garage. We actually are a garage band. So my sponsors gave me PA, so we set up in the garage. So we actually rehearsed last week, blasted out. The neighbours all love it, which is great. They're all fans, so that's a good thing. And I guess if we sounded terrible, they'd probably complain, but they all seem to love it. So so we rehearsed in my garage and then drove ourselves out to the gig in my old truck and just had a great time.
Fantastic. I mean, it's got that 70s, 80s groove to it. You know, the heavy bass line with the crisp, cymbals and the raspy guitar, and then the vocals come in. It is like you're right. It's like a 70s, 80s garage band where you've just pulled up, flung your gear out, and said, "Let's go and do it." And it just takes you back. As soon as I heard it, it. Because of the INXS connection, you're thinking you've got that kind of easy flow, and it's just like quite, it's in your face, and you just from the first note, to the last. I actually reviewed in Edinburgh probably about 6 months ago. And as I say, I've been chasing Judith for almost 10 months. Get me Garry. She's like, don't know what he's doing. He's really busy. I'm like, get me Garry. And every time I email her with new projects, how's it going with Garry? Haven't heard anything. I'm like, come on, So my persistence has paid off. But as I say, it's good that you're out doing it again. So when you moved to LA, did you just not do music? Did you just want to live the quiet life? Did you think about it?
I thought about it. I moved here. I met my now wife, and we have two beautiful, almost 10-year-old twins. They're on the trampoline behind me in the backyard. We've been doing the whole wonderful home school, Zoom school thing. So I've been basically a teacher all year. But I moved here, I guess, 15 years ago, and I kept up the songwriting. I was doing some, writing for shows and ads and stuff like that, just to keep my hand in. But I never met the people I really wanted to write original music with. And it took me a long time to find a singer, not just of the talent of Toby, but that with the lyrical content. I mean, it's really hard to find. It's great you can easily find a good voice. It's hard to find a good mind, like in someone who's got something to say. And we just figured even before COVID hit that with what's going on in America and the world and in general with society, that we had something we wanted to say anyway, let alone that everything we had to say happened to really strike a chord with the whole COVID thing. So it just took a while, because it just took me a while to find the right partners in crime.
I think that's important as well, for someone, of your stature and your talent, like in town, and pick 10 singers or 10 drummers or 10 guitarists, but you've got to feel what you feel when you're writing the lyrics and saying to the guys, this is what I want you to sing and this is how I want you to sing it, and I think that's important as well, that they feel that.
It's really important to me, because I'm all about friendship and being mates, and Toby and I met at a party, at a mutual friends party. He was singing, and he was like the special guest at one of the producers of the Rockstar show, and Toby was on the second season of the Rockstar show, and well, obviously Rockstar INXS started it, and so I met him at the party, and then next thing I know, I'm getting up to jam with him on a left-handed bass on one of my own songs that he changed the key of.
Brilliant.
And I had a couple of cocktails. I was like, okay, I can do this, and I played a left-hand upside down bass, and got through that, and we became good mates. And just I think it's important to me anyway to be mates with the people I work with, because I've tried that with I ended up being mates with JD Fortune with the last sort of phase of INXS, and I'd rather have met him and gotten friends with him before we were thrown in the studio and on tour. It would have been much easier.
Yeah, I think I saw you and the guys way back with young Mr. John Stevens, long time back.
John's still out and about. I think he's had open heart surgery, but he's touring Australia right now doing INXS songs and and Noisework songs. So yeah, good luck to him. He's at least someone. It's good to keep the old INXS songs alive. And he's part of it in a way anyway. So I got no problems with that.
Yeah, this is probably a stupid question, Gary. Do you miss the INXS days?
I miss parts of it. Yeah, I'm still in touch with the guys. We're still a business, like one of a better term. We still and obviously we lost our long-term manager, Chris Murphy, passed away in January suddenly. So
I apologize for that. That's a shame. I'm sorry about that because I met Chris when we were in Glasgow. So apologies for that. That's a sad loss.
It hit us for a loop because it was obviously suddenly very sudden with his diagnosis and in one treatment and he died. I mean, and it's just one of those people. It's like Michael. It's like one of those people you think are going to be they're invincible.
Yeah.
So it's always a bit of a shock to find out that they're not invincible. Therefore, you're really not invincible. So you better make hay while the sun shines. So
absolutely.
I'm still above ground, still very healthy. So it's given me an extra kick in the butt to get out there and
get my dreams come
true.
Absolutely, and I think the world would be a sadder place without you on bass. Let me tell you. So, as you got any plans? Obviously, you've got to wait for the world to open up. Would you be coming to Britain? Is there a hope of that?
I'm just noticing it looks like I've got the halo above me. I might just move that around a bit. Yeah, I'm not that holy. Mate, we want to play everywhere. We Australia's still in lockdown. They had a bit of a relapse and they closed the borders. I haven't been back to Australia for years, so I'm really looking forward to going back for a bit of a homecoming there with my new band, which happens to have an Australian singer, like Toby.
Yeah.
And the UK is, I got to say, a lot of the interviews I did last year when we first released Dust Bowl, all the UK interviews were really, really good, like really positive. And I think, overall, the UK still remembers what good music is, whereas, some places have forgotten, so we want to play everywhere. I mean, especially after playing. I mean, the last couple of shows we did were for benefits for the Australian bushfires. So that was 14 months ago, and then all our tours got cancelled. And so we are like dogs off the leash. We just can't wait to get there and play. And the UK has always been very good to me, very good to INXS, and so far so good as far as the reaction to Ashen Moon.
Yeah, I remember one of the times in Glasgow, Andy came out of the dressing room and was absolutely wasted, and he fell over a tennis table with a glass of red wine and didn't spill a drop. And I thought, that's class, that's class. And we're getting you up on stage, and you're like, yeah, and everybody's pissed, but when you put on such a fantastic show, and I think you're right. I think that's what the British people will remember. They remember, sadly Michael, and the rest of the boys, and Kirk and Andy and John and stuff like that, and yourself. But when you come out of you rise for the ashes with a new band, it's going to gather a lot of interest because the band were a force to be reckoned with. So you're going to get a class piece of writing and a fantastic piece of musicianship, which you have with Umbra. It's just a really cool piece of music. It's got a good vibe to it. And I think it's something that people can get up and go, yeah, I can get into that. It's not as if you put it on and you go, oh, it's all right. There's a good feel, good vibe to it. Which I think a lot of people will get into.
Yeah, I'm very happy. We're all very happy with it, but I'm particularly happy with it because, nothing against my INXS days, but I was the minor songwriter. Andrew and Michael were the two of the world's best writers. So it's hard to get a Guernsey when you're in a band with those guys. So I got a couple of songs in there here and there, but overall, I'm more excited about Ashen Moon because it's pretty much, I produced it, I wrote most of it with Toby, and and I've been mates with Jimmy. He's the first person I met at a party in LA 15 years ago, and he's an amazing guitar player. And so I got a chance to put a lot more of me into it.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm building my own bass guitars. I've always been a bit of a geek. I patented my own electronic system, so I'm building my own guitar. So all the basses you hear on the album, everything Ashen Moon does is my basses that I built. So
Yeah.
I'm really hands on in every department. So it's kind of like a bit of a rebirth for me, and I'm enjoying it because I'm in total control of it, as opposed to being 1/6 of a band with a manager, with a record company, with this. It just seems that it's a lot more organic this time. So we're really enjoying it.
It's a homegrown project from your that you have total control over, and you can, you get artistic direction. You've got the spend to say, let's spend 10 grand, let's spend 100, let's spend nothing, and you're in control of that. And it's a collaborative with you, Jimmy, and Toby, and obviously the guest drummer or keyboards, whoever they are, that you put it down and you're going to be happy with it, and you've put 25% in it, instead of 5% or 8% from days gone by. But you can tell that, you can tell it's you. It's instantly recognizable. The way the bass plays, you can just tell. And I must say it's a fantastic EP. Is there any news in the offing for an album? Are you working on that at the moment?
Yeah, the album will come out. We have more singles to release, but the whole album should come out somewhere around December, beginning of December. And hopefully it will coincide with us getting out there and touring Australia, New Zealand. We're talking about putting a tour together, which should include the UK as well. If we're going to be out there, we're going to be out there. So
yeah, let's hope so, Guy. If you don't come to Scotland, I'll never speak to you again. So you have to come to Scotland,
no,
and we'll share a beer.
Yeah, I'm not gonna mess with you if you were our security guy. That's for sure. So, but yeah, no, mate. As I said, we just can't wait to get there and play. It's a great band, really good live band. We've paired it back too, so it's just a 4-piece. It can be 5 or 6. It was kind of 6-piece on the record, but we've paired it back to a 4-piece, and it's like very Zeppelinish. So I'm loving playing live because I have my whole side of the stage to myself.
Yeah.
And it's I've been building the big bass rig myself and the whole deal, and so working on new sounds and new ideas. So it's a real rebirth for me to get out there and even play live. So I just feel like a bit like a kid in a candy shop myself.
No, absolutely. I think it's. How has it been in LA? Is it starting to open up? I know you said it's starting to open up now, but was it pretty horrific where you just couldn't do anything? You couldn't go anywhere, and
we still haven't really been out and about. I mean, it's opening up in the last 2 weeks. We went from the orange, now I think we're in the yellow tier, whatever it is here, and so they're opening up. Venues are going to open up. As I said, the Staples Centre is opening up tonight, but only 2,000 people instead of 20,000 people. So it's slowly but surely opening up, and of course, other parts of America like Florida, where everyone's crazy, they all went nuts with the school muck up, whatever you call it, and they had a big relapse down there, and other parts they're opening up too quickly. So California hopefully is doing it smart.
Right way.
Yeah, but I've been home, as I said, I've been teaching the kids from home all year. Like it's
and how's that been? Has it been testing that you're home with the kids, the wife, or it's
been horrible. It's been, the poor things. Like you imagine me at my age just relearning fractions and basic writing again. It's just been funny because I try not to be the cranky old bastard, but it's really hard not to sometimes, especially when I'd rather playing music, but it's been good. We got through it. Everyone's healthy, which is all I can ask for. So they go back to school next week. So then I can start getting back, seriously get back into my, getting the band on the road.
Concentrate on you. Yeah, that's, as I say, my son, he lives in Australia just now. He's in Melbourne just now. And, he's been saying, it's been really bad. And then they've opened the borders and then they've closed them. And then they had 5 cases and then they've closed it down again, I've got a little band over there that, that I'm trying to champion just now, a little band called Shotgun Mistress, who are coming out, 4 young guys who have signed to Golden Robot. And, they're like, get your son to come to the show. So they're supposed to do a show 2 weeks ago, and then they had an outbreak and he couldn't go. So I'm trying to get him into coming to see live music and stuff like that, and do a bit of reporting for me in Australia. Yeah. But he's loving the life in Australia. He loves Melbourne. He just loves the kind of slow pace, what it's all about. At the same time, you go to San Fernando, it's slow pace as well. It's quite a laid back place, so you'll enjoy that.
Yeah, it is. I mean, to be honest, I'm getting, my whole family, we're feeling more like gravitating towards the ocean, because I grew up on Manly Beach. My wife grew up on Lake Michigan. It's like, we're in the middle of San Fernando Valley. It's not, we've got a nice house, but I'm kind of wishing it was somewhere else. We're lucky. We're problems of the privilege. I've got a nice house to be sequestered in for a year, but it just makes me realize I want to walk on the beach and wake up on the beach and walk the dogs on the beach, and just basically so the kids grow up how I grew up. So I'm just trying to see life from the perspective of how I looked at it when I was a kid. So that's I think the whole last 12 months is making people realize what they really need in life as opposed to what they really want in life.
Absolutely. I think you take for granted certain things, and then when you get nothing, you kind of realize what's important. I go to work every day. I work every day, and then I come home and I review at night time, and I review at the weekends. All different genres of music, which I'm very fortunate to do. And you get to hear new bands like yourself and lots of new heavy metal and lots of blues. And I feel very privileged that you can do that, and I can do this and talk to guys like yourself and experience, like life in a different place and kind of what it's like for you. And you can kind of share some stories and, and talk about the good old days, which is fantastic. People that don't get to do that, it's a shame. But I hope that, when it opens up, that you are able to come to Britain, come to Glasgow, hopefully, and pass on your excellent music. Yeah.
But
your still got her, which is fine.
Yeah, she's a love of our life. We've had her since she was 2 days old, so she's she's a bbig part of the family.
Part of the family, which is important. Yeah. So as I say, it's incredible that you've put out some music. It's just insane. It's a cracking little album. I'm sure the boys are proud of it.
Very much so. Yeah. Besides meeting Jimmy at a party and what an incredible guitar player, I cannot believe that I met Toby, and that Toby is not, is one of the best singers and lyricists that I've ever met. And he's just, we met at a party and now we're in a band together. So I'm very lucky in that respect. So, we're all very happy. We're all very, very.
That's great. And I'm glad that everyone's safe and well, and because like you say, you hear so many horrendous stories about, family and friends and people that, passed away. I'm quite fortunate we're all still here. And it's just nice to come out the other side, So, as I say, I don't want to keep you too long. I know we've all got stuff to do. I don't want you to fall back over again. But incredible album. Just, I've got it on. I listen to it, stupidly, I listen to it almost every day at work. I have my break and I stick it on my earphones and I just, drift off and listen to Without Faith is my favourite. It's just an incredible piece of writing and it's just a well-crafted track, and I just sit and people are, what are you doing? I'm like, oh. And, when you go and listen to Ashen Moon, they're like, who the fuck's that? And I'm like, yeah, Ashen Moon. And when you say to people, yeah, Gary Beers, and they're like, the fuck's Gary Beers? And I'm like, and I feel sorry for lots of people who went around in my day that were introduced to INXS and yourself and all these kind of bands, and the music that you've produced will stay with a lot of people forever. And you kind of say, no, you don't know who Gary Beers is? And they're like, no. And I'm like, yeah, Michael Hutchins. Yeah, he was in that band. All right, and it's and they kind of gets lost with it. All right, try to figure out which one it is. But it's just an incredible album. I'm just so pleased you put it out. I'm looking forward to your album. Please send it to me. I don't know if you've had my review of the album.
Of the full album?
Of Umbra. I don't know if you had it sent to you.
I would have. Yeah, I would have it somewhere. They sent me all the interviews, all the reviews and such. So yeah, I would have had it.
Yes, let's hope you've not thrown it out, Gary.
No,
yeah.
Well, I look forward to your opinion on the full album because we definitely crafted the album to be like an old school vinyl record where it takes you on a bit of a journey. So like when I used to get a record when I was a kid at school, I'd sit there and just get lost in the on that two sides of vinyl and looking at every inch of the artwork and whatever, and just really try to soak in what the artist was trying to tell me.
Yeah, absolutely. So is the album, is it written, recorded, in the process?
The album's done. The album's done. To be honest, we wanted to release it quicker, but Golden Robot, Market Golden Robot's like, the problem with your band is you got too many good songs. Like, if you release it at one go, all the songs, a lot of the songs will just get left behind because you got so many other ones that they can't compete with itself. So, that's when we decided to release it as 2 EPs. So there'll be Umbra 2 will be coming out soon, and then the album will be following. And to be honest, when he first said, "Oh, we'll release it later in the year," we're like, "What?" But this year's already a quarter gone. So
But I guess though, Gary, I think it's letting people soak up 6/7 songs, and obviously now with Ashen Moon the single, because what a lot of people say, you get too much of a good thing. So if you release 13 tracks and then you've got nothing for another year, people go, when are the new stuff coming out? What's happening? So I suppose doing the 7-track EP, letting people soak it up, and get into the groove, knowing that in 6 months' time, you're going to have something else coming out, which I think builds the anticipation.
And also the fact that we haven't been able to do what bands normally do, which is play live. Now the timing makes more sense. So we're getting out there to play live starting last weekend. So now we can start promoting it. And also, we've been writing new stuff and recording new stuff on the album that's coming out. So we'll be ready for a whole. A full set of originals, as well as obviously some cool covers, and when we go out and play the full shows. But also, we've done acoustic versions of certain songs, including a couple of INXS songs that we'll release at some point. We've got a whole, we've done some live shows that we recorded that I've been mixing in my studio. So we got a whole bunch of live stuff to come out too. So we got a lot of product to come out between now and December anyway.
Yeah, have you ever thought of doing a live stream? Is that something that you've kicked about with the boys, or is it you just want to wait to get out there and do live?
No, we've done a couple of acoustic ones, but we also did a full band one as a 4-piece, and that's what I've been mixing the live stuff from. The footage, it's great footage, but there's no one there, so it looks a little bit sterile. So, but we had this amazing, $200,000 fully LED stage with all our visuals that because we've also done all our own visuals, all our own artwork, and so they look great, but it just looked a little bit funny having an empty room. So, but the actual
to no one, that's the thing, isn't it?
And it was recorded, so I've been mixing that, so we'll have that as well. We're gonna we'll be setting up for a bit of a webcast in the next few weeks. It's just a matter of everyone's now getting. It's funny because now everyone's starting to get work again, it's we want to make sure everyone's focused on the band, so yeah, we're going to set up and do a bit of a hopefully a private gig, some web kind of webcast as well.
Yeah, brilliant. That's fantastic. Listen, I don't want to hold you back, Gary. I know I've taken up a lot of your time today. I really appreciate you coming on and chatting. As I say, the video should hopefully be out tomorrow, if not Saturday morning. We send it to America, we send it to Australia, it goes all over Europe. Lots of people pick it up. You'll get some hits with it because your name is synonymous with the music scene. So I really appreciate your time. I can't wait to hear the new stuff. When it comes out, please send it to my inbox. I'll send it to Judith. And hopefully sometime this year, maybe next year, you'll get to Britain and come to Scotland and get a wee pint of Tennant's lager.
Sounds really good.
Yeah, that was your favourite tipple when you came. So I appreciate your time, and I hope to see you in the future.
Okay, thank you, Darren. Good to see you too, mate. Take care.
It's Darren from Jace Media in conversation with Garry Beers, rock royalty from new band Ashen Moon, saying, Garry, stay safe. Thank you for your time, and we'll speak to you again soon.
Thanks, mate. Talk soon.
Thanks, Garry.
See ya.
Cheers.